I'm working on the F250 today, and I'm going to be test fitting some brackets that I've already custom modified to raise my running boards about 2 inches. If you're wanting to go flush with the weld right there, you can buy F150 brackets or you can buy the trimmer brackets, but I already had a plan to leave space for this Diode Dynamics 12-inch bar that I've got mounted here, and I've only got about a 2-inch clearance there. Right now the opening is about 4 inches. I'm going to show you the brackets that I've already modified and how I'm going to raise those up. These are 2 brackets that I ordered online for an F250 running board. They were the stock height where you would have this longer and you would have this section up a little bit higher. So what we did is we cut it off from the top, we dropped it down 2 inches and re-welded this on so we can retain the factory holes. Right here we just cut this off and re-drilled those holes, so it's going to bring the whole running board up. These are going to be the brackets that I use to test this with, and if this works, then I'll take the other 6 off the truck and I'll have those custom modified. To get the factory bracket off, you're going to have a 13mm nut here and 2 here, and then you've got 2 10mm nuts on each bracket that hold this to the running board. So here's the very first problem I've encountered. You want to take these 2 10mm out of every one of these brackets so you can get the running board off before you go to take this whole assembly. Otherwise, it's going to be very heavy. You can see these are brass inserts. They're supposed to go into the plastic. They're supposed to stay in the plastic, and they did not. When I went to go undo the bolts, as you rotate, it undoes the brass, not the bolt. Kind of a bad design there on Ford's part. I'm prepared for this though, so I've heard about that this issue is possible. So I'm probably just going to grab the bottom side of this flare here and try to take this nut loose, and I will either glue these in so they don't come back out with some good plastic weld. But that's the first issue you're going to run into taking these plastic running boards off. I did get all of these out. Best thing I can describe to you is you're going to get a small pair of vice grips. You're going to grab that little lip right there. And that's what I did here, and then you're going to loosen the 10mm from the bottom. I was able to get them all out. Only issue I saw so far is one of these had some brass that was already cracked when I took that off. Ford, I hope you're watching. These are terrible design right here, how you've got these in this plastic running board. And it looks like they're using blue Loctite. These are not made by Ford, I don't believe. It says made in Canada on the running board itself, so it's got to be a supplier that's doing this and sending it to them. And then, like I said, we're putting Loctite blue on this in this brass insert, and this isn't even the weak point. The weak point is going to be this in the plastic. So Ford, I hope you're watching. This is a terrible design. Here's the side-by-side comparison. The bracket on the right is the one that was the factory supplied bracket. You can see the difference in length there. The one here on my left is the one I've already modified. We've shortened it 2 inches. I'm going to install 2 of these to see how much higher it raises that running board. All right, I've got the 2 brackets on. I loosely set the running board on there, so I have not reattached those bolts because I'm going to glue those brass inserts back inside this board. If you can see my 12-inch bar there, that's exactly perfectly where I wanted this, so I can raise the board, be just underneath that light, still have usable space here on the step, so it's not tucked up so high that I can't use the step for anything. I'm a short person, so I still need a step. I know you can get the amp running boards, but I actually like the fixed running boards better because I just don't want anything going up and down. And I'm going more for that sport look on this truck, and I'm not gonna raise and jack this truck up super high. So this kind of gives it a little bit of that look without having to raise the truck. I'm only gonna be leveling the front end. I've left the center bracket right here so you can kind of see the difference in height that I've gained here. I measured that. We're a little bit over 2 inches there. Maybe about, 2 1/8. So it definitely raised it up. Like I said right here, if you can see where my light is, that's exactly what I wanted. I can move that light and still tilt that light a little bit. And I can also see these Tough Skins letters that I put when I turn that light on. That's the look I was going for on this truck. This is the passenger side with the factory brackets on, in case you didn't remember how tall or how low this board is on the side with the factory brackets. You can see there is my 12-inch bar right here by Diode Dynamics, and I measured from this front bracket here to the ground is about 14.5 inches of ground clearance. You can see we just have that 4-inch gap right there between the board and that weld on the bottom of the body. So I'll show you over here on the driver's side what we look like now. So you can see we've closed the gap there by 2 inches. There's the dial dynamics bar, and I've got about 16.5 inches from the ground to the lowest part of that front bracket right there. I think this is a perfect height for the board where it's still usable. Like I said, I like this factory board, so this is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to do another shot pulling back away from the truck for you. Here's a side shot of the truck with the running board raised up, and hopefully you can see that ground clearance that we've added there. To me, I like this look because I've already put the two-wheel drive front valance on, and I think this kind of balances out the side of the truck, especially if you're not going to do the amp running boards or if you're not going to do the F250 brackets. The only downside to this is if you don't have somebody that can fabricate these brackets for you, you're not going to be able to raise these up 2 inches like I did. Hopefully I can get some stuff done and get some measurements for you when I do the final install. Like I mentioned, this is going to have to be a 2-part video because now I'm going to take the other 3 off the opposite side and have those cut and welded to the proper size, because these were my test brackets that I ordered before I was going to cut my factory brackets. I do have other content related to this truck on my channel. If you're already a subscriber, you've already probably watched some of that. If you're not currently subscribed, please do so and check out some of those playlists. I have a lot about this truck, and I have a lot about other things on my channel that I do. I also will be having a review for that Dial Dynamics light right there, the 12-inch bar. Just have a backlog right now of videos that I haven't gotten finished yet. I'm trying to get as much content out for you guys as I can. Hopefully this information was useful or helpful for you, and if it was, please subscribe and share, and that's to the point.